You know, I haven't done something like this in a long time. RIP to my long-time viewers, bruh. For those who are new here, I'm something of a schizotuber. I live balls deep in the algorithm, just watching and stroking, making observations, and sharing them with the 3 or 4 of you who stumbled here by mistake, thinking you were gonna get pink. Ha! Back when I had more time on my hands, I'd shit these out like hotcakes. But alas, pretty kitty's taken. Pretty kitty's graduated. Pretty kitty's got a job. And pretty kitty is lazy. Did you know that Kendrick Lamar and A$AP Rocky actually have a shit ton of similarities between them? Like, career-wise. Did you notice that? Did anyone notice that? I wouldn't blame you, they are pretty much on opposite sides of the spectrum, despite blowing up around the same time and having many affiliates like the Tylers and the Qs. Well, maybe Rocky and Q at some point in time. Both have collaborated with Danny Brown, and Vince, and Rihanna, and Cardi, and Drake. Well, one's fucking her. Rihanna, I mean. Although... I'm not gonna waste your time. Get your motherfucking cocks ready, as we have another Pretty Kitty classic on our hands. Both Rocky and Dot are from opposite sides of the country, Kendrick being Los Angeles, California, more specifically Compton, and Rocky Harlem, New York in NYC. Rocky is of Black Caribbean descent and Kendrick of Black American heritage. Both had fairly troubled backgrounds growing up, as a lot of black boys in this country unfortunately do. Both of them being born and raised through the crack era or the war on drugs, especially in the areas that they were, you know they saw some shit. I'm pretty sure Kendrick has accounted to seeing his first murder at like 5, alongside several dead bodies in fights, losing friends to gang wars, and was even affiliated at some point in time in his life with the Bloods. Actually, I'm pretty sure he's still affiliated with the Bloods. I think I saw an interview where his best friend is like Pyru, so there you go. Rocky, on the other hand, also has experiences with death at a young age, losing his father to jail and his brother to murder. Rocky used to sell drugs and had even lived in the shelter at a few points in his life, and he ended up going to Rikers. For my New Yorkers who know, you know, spending a short amount of time there.
One nigga got that nigga up out of there, thank God. Yeah, I had to fight some nigga in the bathroom, no homo, we slipping on semen. Niggas was jerking off in the bathroom, nigga. I got that nigga up out of there, all that shit. You know, this is parts of the story that I don't like to...
Again, very unfortunate and eventful childhoods, but along the way, they had several mentors and affiliates who would literally get them off the streets and help them focus their passions and attention into rapping. Dot has been rapping for years, releasing mixtapes since 05. I'm pretty sure he joined TDE around the same time, ran by Top Dog himself, who, along with J-Rock, went through the hardships of the industry in order to learn it from the inside out. Get that hands-on experience, you know? Sometimes you just gotta get them palms all dirty and sweaty. Also, Dot's father even took him to meet Pac and Dre filming California Love when he was like super young. Crazy. So even then, Kendrick always had strong ties to the culture. Rocky, on the other hand, joined the A$AP mob in 07, meeting A$AP Yams, who took a quick liking to him. The mob was about fashion and rapping, and Rocky, named after the god MC Rakim himself, had been rapping since a child thanks to his late older brother. In fact, besides dancehall and reggae, Rocky was also big on hip-hop, especially southern rap, which was unheard of at the time from a New Yorker. Them boys is stingy as fuck, bruh. Now, Kendrick had been touring with The Game and J-Rock, getting experience and really sharpening his pen. And around the rise of the blog era, he decided to drop K-Dot, which apparently was the stage name, and use his real name instead. He also locked the fuck in, realizing the importance of storytelling and packing history within his projects and rhymes, a stark depart from whatever the fuck he was doing before then. Releasing Overly Dedicated got him some buzz, and while touring with J-Rock and Tech 9, he eventually was led to Dr. Dre. And apparently Cole was like in this somehow, like apparently Cole wanted to sign Kendrick or get Dre to sign him? I don't know, I'll be too deep in these interviews. Rocky and the rest of the mob would meet with Space Ghost Perp and his collective Raider clan, who got heavy inspiration from Memphis and their many local acts. Perp is from Florida. Even though Rocky loved Houston rap and culture, he was also big on Memphis, especially 3 6 Mafia, and so him and Perp working together kind of made the most sense. Perp introduced the mob to a lot of their early aesthetic, although it was ultimately Yams who would get them the most buzz. even influencing Rocky to make cloud rap, a genre born through the early internet and blog era. Yams was on them blogs, boy. Also, shout out Clams Casino. And with their shared love of darker aesthetics and sound, Rocky would ultimately drop Live Love ASAP on Halloween 2011, which saw him mix gritty, almost goth-like elements with ethereal and somewhat luxurious production. Kendrick, on the other hand, with his newfound support and resources backing him, dropped his debut Section 80, a concept album which would highlight how much his pen and songwriting had evolved in the last decade. Years of hard work and learning accumulated into this project, which would explore the urban struggles, challenges, and philosophies of young people growing up in LA, more specifically the areas he knew. And unlike Yams, who had the power of the internet for promotion, Kendrick would spend a lot of time on college campuses, doing shows to promote his work and selling CDs the old-fashioned way. Seriously, Yams was ahead of his time. Even before Rocky dropped Live Love, Yams was able to garner him such a fan base that a fan from London made a compilation of some singles he put out and fused it into a tape called Deep Purple, which got him even more traction. And here's where the similarities ultimately begin. Kendrick is a West Coast rapper, true to his home, but when one hears Section 80 besides the content, you sonically don't hear LA. In fact, a lot of the tracks sound very New York-like, with heavy, smoky drums and boom bap, complex bars and rhyme schemes, and sample-driven music. The stark contrast from the LA scene, which yes, can get very lyrically conscious, shout out to Rascass and Early Cube, yet is known more for their laid-back, gangster-induced lyrics, infectious flows, and the gravitational pull towards image over substance. LA can still party, don't get me wrong. You know them boys is wild. But compared to the South, who really likes to throw down, LA would rather reach for the gun first and ask questions later. It's gunshots all day, every day for them. Where in the South, the shots are coming from all the ass being thrown in the clubs. Kendrick would even have music videos in New York following this style, showing his appreciation for the region's tradition and focusing on bars only. Hell, I'm pretty sure that the RZA was on this bitch, so that speaks for itself. And Rocky? Man, he got flack. Again, New York is hard-headed. He was a rapper from the city, sounding not like his region, but Houston and Memphis. While Kendrick played with the jazzy, somewhat experimental underground sound that was NYC, Rocky was everywhere, selling braggadocious lyrics over chopped and screwed beats, mini trap anthems, and bass-heavy drops, even fusing elements of New York rap with that southern twang. Shout out the track Trilla, Keep a G, and Demons.
This is music for the villains, sophisticated cheering ASAP in the house. Now we finna run the motherfucking session, pour some motherfucking liquor for my motherfucking niggas who ain't with us. Keep it the way my brain think I'm going dumb. Cocaine up on my gums, I think they're going.
These guys sounded nothing like where they were from, and it was that refreshing taste and outlook that would eventually lead them to being discovered by no one other than Drake himself, doing what he does best, riding the wave of upcoming talent to catch that buzz and show that he was tapped into the scene. And strategically pulling these new young talents from opposing coasts would truly set off the trend of the new school, officially embarking that the age of hip-hop that we knew was finally over. Yo, real shit. Do y'all like getting your titties rubbed? Pause. Like, you ever be like rubbing your nipples with like Vaseline or baby oil? Like, you know them silver piercings that... Now, debut records out of the way, Rocky and Kendrick were legit, right? But they still needed first major label albums, the shit that everyone looks at. They were still young. In Drake terms, fresh meat, needing to be tenderized. And so them boys got to work. Still touring yet perfecting their crafts, their next albums would be groundbreaking for a variety of reasons. But it comes down to three things. First, both Kenny and ASAP would go back to their regional roots. Kendrick, the funky sounds of LA, with tracks like The Art of Peer Pressure, Mad City, and Rocky, the street-driven percussions of New York, with tracks like Goldie,
Said it must be, cause a nigga got dough, extraordinary swag in the mouth full of gold,
and One Train.
Feeling like a vigilante or a missionary. Tell my ASAP killers get they pistols ready. Send them to the cemetery with obituaries. Don't be scared, nigga. Is you ready? I've been thinking.
This helps with authenticity on a local and rap DNA level. Remember, in the black community, one must know their history, who they are and where they're from. And showing love to your region and hometown is crucial in doing so. Secondly, they would infuse what was hot/popular at the time into their works with varying degrees of success, admittedly. Kendrick embracing the ever-growing trap sounds like Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, the electronic banger of Backseat Freestyle, and the moody melody of Swimming Pools. Rocky came with the late night radio banger of Pussy Money Weed,
pussy money weed, yeah. Pussy money weed, yeah. Pussy money weed, yeah. So a nigga need.
The commercial hit of Fucking Problems, and the EDM killer with Wild for the Night. This helps them attain mass success and radio appeal, breaking them into new audiences. And finally, they would do what they do best, integrating their own signature sounds and styles within their music.
I'm a rat town niggas with the roof bag. Introduce you niggas to the new swag. Niggas say a nigga blew a tooth.
While these philosophies are the same, Rocky has an eclectic mash of sounds with this record, showing how much he loves to experiment with the music, literally making something for everyone. And on top of his braggadocious and larger-than-life lyrics, his charisma was literally the selling point, along with the image of fashion being seen everywhere and in everything that he did. But Kendrick? He would bring back his personal element of storytelling, so deeply moving and conscious, not just with lyrics, but even the sounds he chose, that his entire album would play out like some type of film. One huge cohesive story that saw his world and childhood of LA come to life through the lens of the early 2010s. He carefully catered sound to style, giving a new dimension of depth to his work, getting across deep messages through mass appeal. Case in point, letting a conscious nigga go commercial while only making a conscious album. In the eyes of Kendrick fans, he had evolved, showing a masterclass of an album that tackled subject matter and sound in such a precise way. He had evolved expeditiously in a way almost never seen before, and the quality backed it up. A classic that cemented him into the hip-hop space. And Rocky's experimental nature, from his fusion of sounds to Live Love and Long Live, was something almost never seen before either, especially considering the wide level of success he received. He was courageous, nearly fearless, wholly glazed, and his willingness to take chances with the music and sell it so well with his natural charisma slowly began to put him on the radar with fans who loved the Danny Browns and Kanye's at the time for doing something similar in their own ways. It's a no-brainer why Kendrick entered the conversations with Coleslaw Cole and Dick Dippin' Drizzy. Also, I love how both Backseat Freestyle and Goldie showed that they were both in Paris at one point in time. Just nice attention to detail. Both albums, the original versions, have 12 tracks, and on Spotify, 5 more tracks are added with their deluxe, consisting of a few songs and remixes, making both have 17 tracks in total. So what happens when you're 2 for 2, right? 2 juicy, big booty bumping albums back to back? You gotta go bigger, you gotta go home, like Kendrick did, or in Rocky's case, explore new territory.
Walk around my pen stuff, walk around my pen stuff, yeah, purple on my color.
Now, it's important to spell out some important things that happened in between both Rocky and Kendrick's second official albums. In 2013, Kendrick's Control verse shook up the entire game, and Rocky was one of the few artists who took this rather well, clearly understanding the assignment unlike one big-ass fucking baby. Now, unfortunately, Kendrick was suffering through a lot of mental health issues, especially with depression because of survival's guilt, and the situation of those he grew up with that he wasn't able to help at all. His music was all about uplifting others and assessing morals within himself and his own community, a message. And so when his sister and even cousins, I presume, got pregnant at such young ages, he himself felt like a failure. For having impact is one thing, but being unable to reach those closest to you is a pain few can barely understand. Kendrick would travel to Africa, specifically South Africa, visiting the motherland and coming into touch with his roots. Had no idea he was Khoisan, but dope. As Kendrick interacted with the locals, he realized a lot of the issues he had back home were felt with the black population globally. In fact, I personally feel like visiting Africa and seeing the detrimental effects of imperialism that bled into globalization truly had him grasp with the horrors of history regarding the black diaspora as a whole. And coming back home made him realize that he needed to go bigger, transcend his hometown, his region, rap itself. He needed to reach not just the culture, but the entire diaspora. And while A Good Kid still holds so much weight with the impact and masterclass of skill it showed on all fronts, it's this album, To Pimp a Butterfly, that would truly show how immaculate, how conceptual, and layered Kendrick was as a musician, a poet, and a thinker.
The more and more I got to travel, when I went to Africa and I got to see other people's problems, you know, they struggle maybe 10 times harder, you know, and was raised, you know, crazier than what I was. Going out there really inspired. I wrote a lot of records off the album just by visiting South Africa and being able to move around like I did. And that was the moment I knew, okay, I can either pimp this situation or I can fall victim to it. You know what I mean?
On the flip side, Rocky really started venturing into fashion, leaving behind the streetwear and Supreme, and leaning into a more tailored aesthetic. Yet he was still putting it off for the mob, dropping a project with them, and investing a lot of his time into their music. ASAP Yams would have the two of them brainstorm a new direction, and with his mentor by his side, the sky was the limit. Unfortunately, on January 18, 2015, Yams would die of a drug overdose, sending the entire hip-hop world into a state of shock. Devastated as he lost another close friend and figure in his life, Rocky would move to London, having to slightly change the direction of his second upcoming album in order to give the project a much more authentic view to his current state. At long last, ASAP would even see Rocky produce and help curate many of the songs on there, as it was up to him to finish the vision he and Yams had from the start. Both men dropped their projects in 2015 to wide levels of success, with these albums, not counting the deluxes of previous releases, being their longest set of albums to date. These albums are also usually perceived as fan favorites, with both fans on Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube considering these to be their magnum opuses. Let's start with Rocky. I've talked about it before, but this album was stacked with features, having Future, MIA, Bones, Schoolboy Q, Lil Wayne, Kanye, UG Miguel, and even Mos fucking Def. This man even picked up a homeless guy from the streets of London and had him do 4 songs on this bitch, shout out Joe Fox. This album really took cloud rap to another level, even blurring the lines between the genre and psychedelic rap. You have your typical songs like Fine Wine being incredibly infectious and murky.
Buddy, it's just that punch, drunk and loving, no buggy. Eyes bloody when we out in public. I'm hubby, she say she love me. Wasted money on syrup and honey.
And Better Things, sounding like an ascension to meet God.
Yeah, I got used to living life on my own, yeah. And searching, looking for a wife to call my own.
You have your club bangers like Lord Pretty Flocko Jordy 2, getting every club turned with that eerie synth and speaker blowing 808s.
Who the jiggy nigga with the gold links? Got me reminiscing about my old day. 3-6 sucker nigga dick, no foreplay all day. Booming out the trap through the.
But then you look at songs like LSD and Excuse Me that tell stories through their dreamy production and momentous build-ups, being arranged of different parts and layers, prioritizing texture and feel over anything else.
All you see is niggas here, so that mean this trick is there. What you mean? We got weed and codeine and bricks for...
Do you want a drumless, faded the fuck out of your mind banger? Kanye and Shea Pope produce jukebox joints for you. Missing that warm southern feel, smothered in shea butter and cinnamon, Wavy Bones sounds like a family dinner on a Sunday right after church.
Getting money is. Yeah. Getting money is.
You ever wondered what the streets of London sounded like in the dead of winter? Come listen to Far Side and be swept away. And don't forget about those cold New York winter nights. Back Home has exactly what you're looking for. Even the song Every Day was nearly inescapable from 2015 to 18. I swear I heard it everywhere before I even knew who Rocky was. And if the music wasn't enough, look at the visuals paired with it. Rocky started going above and beyond, realizing that while substance was alright, taking the artsy direction through stimulating visuals was definitely more of his lane. And it'd be a no-brainer why, from that point on, he and Tyler the Creator would spark a relationship on a similar creative process through artsy directions and ideals.
See these designs that you just drew in front of me. That shit is mind-blowing. To see your niggas film some shit and to see them do their own edits and see you guys do photography, all that kind of shit. You get what I'm saying? To see your own edits, that shit is crazy. We do that. There's not too many motherfuckers in the rap game who do that. Like hip-hop alone. It's sad because when it comes to us, it's like, oh man, wait, so he directs his own videos and he styles himself, designs his own stuff and does his own music and he's a rapper? But if he was a rocker, it would just be like, oh yeah, he does his own, da-da-da. You know why? Because everything for rappers is just like minimal and it's just like, we're the epitome of
so
music.
Weird. I had that conversation yesterday.
I don't even know where to begin with this one. You've all heard it before. I truly believe To Pimp a Butterfly is a masterpiece, a classic, and if you're discussing music and albums that should be revered for their significance, not just in the black community, but the diaspora as a whole, it needs to be up there with Exodus from Bob, The Miseducation from Lauren, Voodoo from D'Angelo, Mama's Gun from Erykah Badu, I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone. It's just in a lane of its own. Also, Catch a Fire is my favorite Wailers album. Here's something I want to point out. The 70s is probably the blackest decade you could ever think of. After the end of the Civil Rights Movement, which spanned from the late 1800s to the 60s, we saw respectability politics at its highest high, which the Black Power movement wanted to reform. This movement would peak in the 70s despite starting in the mid-60s and would redefine blackness on all fronts, from the departing of soul to funk music, a genre focused on percussions, drumming, and bass. To the Black Arts Movement and Black is Beautiful, not just in America, this entire movement was felt around the globe. The Rastafari movement, which started years before in Jamaica, would also peak in the 70s, leaving behind ska and rocksteady for a slower, bass-driven and conscious message. Both movements even embracing natural features of blackness, with Americans loving froze and Caribbeans adoring locks. Apparently they also had something in Brazil, so that's definitely something to look out for. But why is this so important? Well, hip-hop was born out of the Black Arts movement in the early 70s through the inner city connections of Black Americans, Caribbeans, and Afro-Latino youth interacting in the city slums of the Bronx. Shout out my borough. And Kendrick would bring his album back to its roots, with funk music being the main driver of this project's sound. It's already ill enough for the West Coast that they widely embrace P-Funk, turning it into G-Funk, really building up on the melodies and interpolations compared to the sample-driven loops of the East. But again, Kendrick just took this to another level, my god. A performance that's once in a lifetime, like he was crying his heart out on one of the tracks. I think it was You. Flows for days, whether that be the eccentric track of Mama, the black empowering track of King Kunta, using the iconic staple of Kunta Kinte and flipping it on itself, jazz and spoken word, highlighting the many ways the American system incarcerates young black youth through school, prison, and debt. He deadass made being a hotep cool for the youth. Alright literally became the anthem for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I, while quirky, yes, was a message of love and adoration for oneself, a beautiful echo of the movement this very genre spawned out of 50 years ago. And don't get me started on hood politics and, in my opinion, the best and most infamous track off this album, The Black of the Berry.
I'm African American, I'm black as the moon, heritage of a small village, part of my residence. Came from the bottom of mankind. My hair is nappy, my dick is big, my nose is round and wide. You hate me, don't you? You hate my people, your plan is to terminate my culture. You're fucking evil, I want you to recognize that I'm a proud monkey. You vandalize my perception, but can't take down from it.
Even having Assassin doing the hook was just that exact black diasporic unity I was talking about. Same ships, different stops. Or how in hood politics, when Kendrick draws parallels between his time in Africa to what was going on in the States, the very same communities he was raised in, he came through, storytelling and changing flows in ways we never really see from him.
Ain't nothing new but a fluid new Democrats and rebel against red state versus a blue state. Which one you governing? They give us guns and drugs, call us thugs, making they promise to fuck with you. No condom, they fuck with you. Obama say what it do.
Also, the bass on hood politics, bro, oh my god. And with production from Soundwave, Pharrell, Knowledge, Thundercat, fucking Terrace Martin, and so many more, it really was like, this is timeless music. And the continuation of the poetic concept until him speaking with Pac at the end, I mean, just listen to what he says.
Yep.
So when you heard it, you felt like he was talking to you, or did you already have the questions in your mind? Or
yeah, well, because the trip is, Pac was a prophet to me, and everything he's talking about is actually going on today. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that right there just sparked the idea immediately for what I was talking about in my record.
It's kind of crazy when people put Cole and Drake in the same conversation with Kendrick, especially considering his run and the insane level of things he was able to achieve in such a short span of time. He truly had transcended rap at this point, showing love to it and being so forward-thinking before it was even a wave, trying to reach the youth and warning them about the dangers of pimping or even being pimped out, or how to pimp themselves out of crazy and life-threatening situations. And Rocky, in sort of the same way, Rocky made it clear that his direction wasn't just about hip-hop. It was about art and versatility, control, and expression. I feel like with hip-hop, there's usually 4 directions an artist can go in. There's the backpacker, number 1, which is basically the conscious rapper. Be there with a message, a goal. Drive not just the youth, but the community. Express spirituality and spreading knowledge throughout your music to leave a legacy of mental liberation. Then there's the gangster rapper, number 2, or the drill rapper. A lot of negative connotations with this one, especially because of their promotion and even glorification of violence, yet they often keep it real, still highlighting the environment they're from and being a reflection of the system that made them what they are. There's number 3, the artsy rapper, the creative or innovator, pushing and using your platform as a way to express art, ideas, and concepts in ways many wouldn't understand or struggle to comprehend, being ahead of the curve and forward thinking. And then there's number 4, the chill rapper, dudes who are just here for a good time, making tracks you can vibe to, party and relax, music for the hoes. And the best usually balance all 4 elements like the Avatar, making them the secret 5th element. But don't be like the 6th, the sellout, putting out shit music, following trends, have no substance with what you do, just be there for the bag, get your bread and dip, pimp out the fucking culture, bitch ass niggas. And it's truly a special thing when a rapper can literally embody all 4 of these elements, bringing out the best sides of each one. So yeah, these guys fucking killed it. Just overall inspirational as hell and super uplifting to the genre as a whole. I could go on, but this video is already long enough. And just know that in 20's long enough, and I do not think I have much space left on my phone. Bro, I've had this phone since like 2021, bro. Which is not bad, like it still works, so. Like shit is expensive these days. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do a quick fire round now because I'm kind of running out of time. So I'm just gonna go over like important things that you should know, just more similarities, you know? Just in 2017 and 18, both Rocky and K-Dot would release their 3rd official studio albums, which were super controversial at their releases, more so Rocky. While Kendrick's entire concept was pretty remarkable, making the entire album listenable from front to back and coded with hidden messages, it still lacked a lot of the same impact that To Pimp a Butterfly had, despite receiving a Pulitzer? Is it Pulitzer? Pulitzer Prize, whatever. Like, just compare Pride and YALL to Institutionalized and my favorite, For Sale. While I wouldn't say there was a huge drop in quality, T-Pab really set the bar incredibly high for Kenny, and the pessimism he felt when recording that album was pretty devastating to experience. He was clearly very miserable and kind of defeated on Damn. And as for Rocky, you know that Testing is my favorite from him. I had a whole video on that, but yeah, while he clearly had somewhat of a direction and idea of where he wanted to go, to many, I can see why it sounded like he was just throwing random shit on the wall to see if it stuck. But again, it's that willingness to create and take chances that made him so great in the first place. None of Rocky's projects sound the same, and the visuals to Testing are fucking unmatched. And on the flip side, both of these albums have the artist's biggest songs to date. Praise the Lord for Rocky and Humble for Kendrick. In fact, Damn really feels like Kendrick's most commercialized album. Loyalty, Love, and DNA were played fucking everywhere, man, oh my god. Both artists would work on several albums and go on creative endeavors. Kendrick headed the musical direction of the cultural phenomenon that was Black Panther in 2018. Rocky released albums with the Mob, becoming the face of Dior, and he went on more fashion ventures and was ultimately arrested in Sweden. Never taking my black ass there. And the two would basically not drop an album for quite some time. I should also mention that Kendrick would mentor Baby Keem, as Rocky did with Cardi early on, both who would become huge successes in their own right. And finally, Kendrick would drop Mr. Morale, his fourth official studio album, because it's technically 5, but you know. A double-sided album that touched on the trauma in his own personal life, as well as the unseen cracks left in the hearts of Black America. This would be his final release under TDE, as he embraced his new label PG Lane, shared with Dave Free. Funny enough, Rocky would also start his own label / creative agency years ago called OGG. Rocky would also drop his fourth official studio album, Don't Be Done, in 2026, which was also double-sided. Huh, neat. In Don't Be Dumb, he would explore his own current state of affairs and position / situation in the rap game, of course, and as we all know, putting his creative expression at the front of his work. Now, Mr. Morale actually has a lot of deep shit I want to unpack, but I'll save that for another time, probably next year. Kendrick has a 5th official studio album, which is technically his 6th in his main discog, named GNX, which is actually my favorite from him. And I think he aimed this one more at the fans because he really wanted them to feel the shit. But this is really made for LA, his home region, his hometown. It was a perfect album to drop, especially after demolishing Drake in their 2024 beef. And it would be funny if Rocky's 5th official album was also a project aimed at the fans, given the bangers he knew they'd want to hear, huh? Wink, wink. But yeah, that's it for the video. I think I covered about everything. Well, there's definitely more, but I'm lazy. I gotta go to bed. So yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Just let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You know, feel free to share a like, dislike it. Tell me that you hate me. Tell me that you love me. I don't care. I'll read and heart every single one of it. But yeah, that's the video. Bye.